Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the FrostBytez Gaming Experience, part 30 of the Pokemon Emerald walkthrough, where, once again, we are flying out of Lily Cove City. I swear we do come back to Lily Cove City almost right afterwards, but in order to get the events of Lily Cove City started off, we first have to make our way back to Slateport. So, if, like me, you originally thought that after beating the Team Magma Hideout, the next thing you had to do was go for the Team Aqua Hideout, you actually can't. If you actually go talk to the members, they make a mention about their boss going and stealing a special submarine, which should give you the hint that, okay, we got to go to Slateport because that's where basically all the boats are at. And you find this big crowd in front of this looking indoor harbor kind of ordeal here. And it just gives you an idea that, okay, I got to go in here. You find the boss and he leaves, and I think he flat out says, oh, if you think you can stop me, try and find us at our hideout in Lily Cove City. And it's like, I've been going to your hideout like for dog years now, and only now am I capable of actually doing something about it. So yeah, last time I swear that we have to start off by flying out of Lily Cove. Except for our next part, I think we got to start off by surfing out of Lily Cove. Lily Cove just doesn't get a whole lot of love outside of the contests that you end up doing. So, you know, can't really say as I blame. Can't blame the city for me always having to leave consistently. It happens. So anyways, we're, contrast to the last part, you know, we did the Team Magma Hideout. So in this part, we're going to be doing the Team Aqua Hideout, with a huge difference as far as timing goes. Team Magma's hideout took us nearly 20 minutes in its own right to do, whereas Team Aqua's only takes us about 10 minutes. That's really about it. Not very many members to go against, and all of them have relatively easy Pokemon to take out until you go against the admin, which is still relatively easy, but it's a confusion war. And unfortunately for me, I lose 75% of those confusion battles. So, you know, a little bit of a rough one, but what can you do? But because of the fact that it's so short, we have ourselves a short part today, which is good because we've had a lot of like 20+ minute parts the past couple parts or so. So it feels good to dial it back a bit and have a really quick, I think it's like, what, a 13.5 minute part or something like that. So it feels good to dial it back every so often. And I didn't really want to do too much else outside of the Team Aqua Hideout because where we plan on doing afterwards could take about another 20 minutes in its own right. Maybe I'm over exaggerating it. I don't know how long the next part's going to take, but I assume it's going to be somewhere between 15 and 20 minutes or so, and I did not want a 30-minute part, so I've been kind of crazy. Also, this is where we're introduced to our little friends, the teleporters. It feels like every gang in the Pokemon games has their own variation of teleporters, and Team Aqua is no different. Not really hard to figure out, though. It's not as all over the place as Team Rocket was in the Silphco building. And a lot of these that you have to do, like the puzzle that I just did right here, you only have to do that if you want to get yourself some extra items. However, one of the extra items we are looking to get, well, two of the extra items we're looking to get are actually battles with false electrodes. Seriously, like, electrodes supposedly are really big Pokemon. So how did we mistaken an item with something that's probably twice our size of a human? I don't know. Careful with the two electrodes that are within this area because they both have the move self-destruct. As you are going to see, I kept both of the battles in because there's only two battles, and because for one of them, we get him down to maybe 1 HP left over and allow him to get a self-destruct in, having me getting pissed off because I was like, crap, now I gotta revive Vibrava. Luckily I had a max revive in my item, but I didn't want to have to utilize that. But lucky for us, live with 5 HP. You should have seen the red in my eyes when I saw that Electrode live with like 1 HP and be able to get off its self-destruct. Thank God it's only self-destruct and not explosion. But thankfully this Electrode dies in 1 hit of dig, so I guess this one's defensive stat is 1 point less compared to the other or something like that. I don't know. But aside from these two, one of the items that you get out of this is the Master Ball. This is how we get the Master Ball within the Emerald game, which yes, I will plan on using it. I'm pretty sure everyone knows what for, but if you don't, stick around, keep watching, we'll find out in due time. No hidden items within the area of the Team Aqua Hideout, as well as no random Pokemon to encounter either. Those Electrodes are the only wild, quote-unquote, Pokemon that we actually end up facing within this area, so we don't have to use any repels except for traversing the water in order to get to there. Which I will state right now, I got really lucky in the fact that when I left, I decided not to use the repel because I knew I was only traversing a small bit of water, and got really lucky not to run into a wild encounter. Because there's no wild encounters in this area, it makes it a little bit easier to traverse, but on the contrary to that, because it is considered an indoor space, we are incapable of running. I guess they really had a huge issues of school kids running all over indoor places, and so they felt like if they made a Pokemon game that gave you running shoes, whenever you were indoors, you had to walk and you couldn't run. It was a way of saying, hey, be polite, walk indoors, don't run. It's the only thing I can think of because there is really no excuse to have us stuck with the walking animation when indoors. So, because, you know, it's kind of like a half and half, you know. You don't have to worry about any wild Pokemon encounters, but instead, you can't use your running shoes. Still, not as many areas to go through, not as many trainers to fight against. Some more really funny dialogue as... more funny dialogue is what I was talking about in the most recent part. A lot of them make a mention of the fact that, oh, hey, we're basically just stalling you. It's one of the few times where the trainer will talk to you after you defeat them, but not ask, you know, for your Pokenav to throw in their number. Thank goodness. You know, you think that'd be the first thing gangs would want to do is just have their numbers all over the place, right? But all they really do is just make a mention of the fact that, oh yeah, we're just stalling you. Our boss is just going to get the heck out of here. Doesn't matter how fast you do it, the boss is always going to get out, no matter what. And you got to do a long traverse in order to find him. However, to us, that means we're going to sidetrack and do something completely different. We still got 2 gyms that we got to take care of after all. The fate of the world on whether or not it's going to be all land or whether or not it's going to be all sea, that all can wait. That's nowhere near as important as making sure that we get our 8 gym badges, right? Well, right. I mean, that's kind of the whole entire point of the game. Everything else is just subplot. When it comes to for some people, when it comes to Pokemon, it's all about catching all of them. For others, like myself, it's all about just being able to beat everybody, win the Elite Four, all of that. And I don't know, maybe there's some out there that feel like it's all about what I consider the sub-story of, hey, stop the gang from trying to take over the world, or in this case, change the world. You know, everyone has their give and take on what they prefer in. Me, I just want to beat the Elite Four. That's really about it. But aside from that, not really much else. I know that they've announced some more Pokemon. I already talked about the gigantic sort of stuff. And I think that they've already mentioned what some of the region-specific Pokemon were. Let me go ahead and just take a look. There's not really much else going on in this part besides facing a whole bunch of Team Aqua members. They have relatively weak Pokemon until you get to the admin. Even then, it's not like his lineup's all that great. Pokemon Gen 8. Let's see what we can find ourselves here. Any new released Pokemon that we are unaware of? I know they've been mostly showing a lot of gym leaders that you would end up going against, which has like a cool little setup in its own right, honestly. I like the fact that from the video that I saw, one of the gyms that you fight is actually like a sports gym. You know, it's like a giant coliseum kind of thing. Because that's the kind of feel that it really should have with it. Anyways, let's see here. Have they introduced any new Pokemon since the last time I even talked about the Pokemon within Generation 8? Let's see here. Go all the way to the bottom here. Alright, we got our 3 starters, which, yeah, I agree with some people. It does kind of get old that no matter what generation you play, it's still a grass, a fire, or a water type. How come we haven't mixed it up by now? Is there any particular reason? I know there's probably an interview out there somewhere that states why you always choose between a grass, fire, and water. The best thing I could probably think of is that then it's more familiar with all the other games. You know, the very first generation, those were the 3 stars you picked with, and then you make it so that even if you like started with Gen 6 or something like that, you still had a grass, fire, and water to pick from, just like every other game. Only thing I could really make sense of. Alrighty, we have ourselves a Gossip. That's already been out. I'm not exactly a fan of that one. It looks like the really weak grass type. Yep, there's the Lion Sword and Shield thing. Again, not a fan of the way it looks personally. What is this? Impidimp? Whoa, look at that. Impidimp. Oh, I love that name. Impidimp. Why does that look like a Digimon and not a Pokemon? It's a dark fairy type. I guess it's actually pretty good typing-wise. What would it be really weak to if it's dark fairy? Obviously, fire type, poison type. I think bug is still good against it. I think fighting would be good against it. I don't think it's ×4 weak to anything. What's good against both? I don't think bug's super effective against fairy, so it'll just be double effective on the dark type. Impidimp. I like the name of that, but it does, I don't know. Am I the only one that thinks that thing looks like a Digimon? It looks like a Digimon to me. It doesn't scream Pokemon, it screams Digimon. Oh, well, oh, what have we got ourselves here? Whoa! Durlodon, a Steel Dragon type. So this is more than likely going to be, from the looks of it, that's either its final evolution or stage 2 evolution. I'd be kind of upset if that's its final evolution. Because it just kind of looks basic. It looks like a refrigerator with eyes. Like, even its claws are just like stars. Huh. Don't know. Anyways, going against the admin here. Mightyena. This Mightyena is all about being faster than you and making yourself hit yourself in the face. Because all he has is Swagger, Scary Face, Odor Sooth, and I can't remember, I think Roar. And that's it. No actual physical base attack. So his whole goal is for you just to punch yourself in the face. Something Vibrava is more than happy with helping Mightyena out with, might I add. Literally, absolutely impossible. Always smacking himself in the face. Roly-Coly. So I'm guessing these are like, so it's just basically a rock. Like, that's like a Geodude on a bad day. I think that's just one eye. I guess this is going to keep gaining more eyes. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. A Pure Fairy type. Oh, yeah, it's that weird, like, ice cream looking thing. Okay. Anyways, moving on. What else do we got here? An Electric Yamper, huh? Oh, the weird Corgi Pikachu. Okay. I know people are going crazy about that because it's a Corgi. I don't see the appeal of it, personally. Not really for me. I do like the look of the Dreadnought. And what is that, like a second? Oh, that's the gigantic Dreadnought. It looks kind of cool, actually. Not mad. Dreadnought looks actually kind of cool. Water Rock, not a favorite combination of mine, but it looks decent nonetheless. Oh, dang. Corviknight. Flying Steel. I know they keep trying to, like, make the base set bird Pokemon a little bit more interesting. They did it with, what was it called? A Talonflame, but they made it a little bit too strong because of the fact that it had the ability of, what was it again? Something that made its flying type moves like, what, double? Or it made it so that it always had I think it made it so that it always had priority. And it was something like with Brave Bird, it was just stupidly strong. Now we got a Flying Steel type. Wonder how that's gonna go on over. Hard to say. And the rest I kind of know about. I don't understand the fascination with Wooloo, but I think because I also grew up on a farm with sheep, it's like, yeah, it's a sheep. There's nothing interesting about it. It's a sheep. But people are going crazy about it. I don't know. There are some things that people love that I'm just like, I really don't understand. But then again, I'm really loving the look of this Impidimp, and I'm pretty sure that's probably one of the dumbest Pokemon I've ever seen. Impidimp. I love the name too. Oh my god. I'm gonna run me an Impidimp. You best believe. I'm definitely gonna run an Impidimp. I think I'm also gonna run this Duraludon. Even though, again, I really hope that's only its stage 2 and not its final evolution. Technically, I should say stage 1 because technically, according to the card game, it's basic stage 1, stage 2. I've always seen the basic as stage 1, middle stage 2, and then final form. If that's his final form, I'll be very upset because that's so bland. I don't know. It doesn't look all that cool. Anyways, that's it with the, I almost said the Rocket Hideout, but it's actually the Team Aqua Hideout. Again, not much. Really relatively simple, quick. We'll have more to talk about in the next part. But until then, enjoy the rest of your evenings, and we'll catch you all on the next part.